Good evening, everybody. It is 8 o'clock, and this is the Pulse. I'm Seth Eisenberg. I'm the guy on the conservative corner. I forgot the word. Um, some breaking news, and I think we talked about this before. Trump and Elon Musk have kissed and made up, and now they're buddies again. And I didn't think it was going to last this long, so I'm not really shocked. But they made up. They're all good, and that's good news for everybody because who wanted to see them fight? That wasn't fun. I didn't like it. Kind of hurt me a little bit. Hit me right in the feelings, right in the feels. So they're good. We're good. Everybody's good. All's right in the world, except for California. But we'll get into that in a minute. So before we get into that, I wrote a monologue, and it kind of sums up what we're going to talk about tonight. Excuse me. Oh, the glorious rise of stupidity. It's like the world decided to trade in on its collective brain for a shiny new participation trophy. Picture this: humanity, once flirting with moon landings and penicillin, now proudly Googles, "Can I charge my iPhone in a microwave?" Spoiler, you can't, but the TikTok views are awesome. Stupidity having glow up, and social media is the stage. On X, you'll find gems like, "The earth is flat because my cousin's drone didn't find the curve." Retweets, 10,000. Facts, 0. It's not just randos. Celebrities and politicians are out there tossing brain cells around like it's confetti. Good times. The algorithm loves this chaos, serving up hot takes faster than a Karen demanding to speak to the manager of science. Why is this happening? We're lazy. Thinking's hard, scrolling's easy. Our brains, bless them, would rather binge conspiracy reels than wrestle with a spreadsheet. Plus, stupidity's got swagger now. It's not ignorance, it's living my truth. Schools aren't helping. They're too busy teaching kids how to pass tests instead of questioning why 5G causes hiccups is trending. And don't get me started on echo chambers. Half the plane is just nodding along to their own bad ideas, high-fiving the group in chat. The kicker? Stupidity's winning. From flat earthers packing conventions to folks buying crypto from a guy named Crypto Wolf 69, we're out here making Darwin spit in his grave. The fix? Maybe a global think before you post, asshole, button or a mandatory logic class with every Netflix subscription. Until then, grab some popcorn and watch humanity yeet itself into dumb apocalypse. At least it'll be entertaining. So yeah, that's my opinion. And I think it's pretty spot on. But like I said, we'll get into stupid people on the Pulse tonight because a lot of stupid people out there doing a lot of stupid stuff, and we're going to make fun of those stupid people. So let's get into it. So, of course, you have me. I'll be the moderator tonight. Sorry about your bad luck. Then we have Alexandra Levine from Alexandra All In,
Hello.
my fellow tribesman. We have Damon the Hammer Galdo,
I love the hammer. Hello, everybody.
muscle from South Jersey. So don't make me mad because I don't get physical. He does. And then we had a special guest, as always. We were going to have Elaine Barbera, but apparently she's having some medical issues, so we wish her the best. Keep her in your prayers, and we'll let you know what we know when we find out. And then my man from Dundalk, Mr. Fazenbaker, Tim Fazenbaker, my buddy, looking good. Always looking good. It's better to look.
You get me, Elena's hanging.
Okay.
Hanna-Barbera.
Remember, it's better to look good than to feel good. So let's jump right into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is California. I mean, I don't even have to go further than that. California. We all know that, again, the rise of stupidity is taken over and California is burning. My sincere opinion is we should let it burn to the ground, salt the earth, and start over again. But I'm just one man. So we'll start with you, Hammer. Damon, what do you think? What is your opinion on the whole California thing as of right now?
Well, I'm just one man as well that believes what you said is absolutely true. It's like California is the drug addict of the United States family. I mean, if you think about it, I don't know if anybody, unfortunately, if they had anybody addicted to drugs in their family, you can't keep enabling them. They're going to keep doing it over and over again. So as hard as it may be, you have to cut them off. You have to say, that's it, no more. We're not going to enable you. let the city burn, let the state burn, let Gavin Newsom go down with them. And why not? You can't keep doing it. Let them go broke and let them try to rebuild themselves. And guess what? Every tax-paying person that lives there that abides by the law will move to another state, say Texas, Florida, or anything like that, and who will support them? I mean, just in LA alone, it's a population like 3.8 million, and there's about 1 million illegals there. So the amount of money they give away, you can get TWIC, you can get all kinds of free benefits, at free healthcare, free schooling, you name it. Everything that is available to every citizen that is down and out and actually needs it for a particular reason. Doesn't matter if you're legal or not, you can get on every single program. So why would you ever go to work? Why wouldn't you want to cross the border legally and go to California? And it just sucks because there are innocent people that live there. And it's just like I said, I'll end with this. It's like having a family member, and it's a very hard choice to make that. And you hope that they'll learn from their mistakes. If they wind up going, even if they wind up going to jail, or they hit rock bottom and they build themselves back up, that's what you want to happen. But there comes a point in time where you just cannot enable them anymore until they learn for themselves.
So pretty much you're saying we should just cut them off and let it rot.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, what else? You can't just allow it. Nobody wants to pay for it anymore. I mean, how much debt are they in? It's incredible. And they want the rest of the states to keep paying for them. Our federal taxes to go to that state when they don't even let the feds in.
Hell, I don't even pay my own bills. I'm not paying their bills. Alexandra, what do you think about it?
I think it's disgusting. I think what these elected officials are doing is a disservice to their constituency. And Gavin Newsom actually tweeted, the federal government is taking over the California National Guard and displaying 2,000 soldiers in Los Angeles because they want a spectacle. President Trump wants a spectacle? No, moron. You want the spectacle. You are literally watching your state burn in front of you, kind of a repeat of Minnesota. You're a disgrace. The fact that you got reelected is disgusting. And we know that it was the illegals in your state that got you reelected. And the fact that they're looking at Kamala Harris to run for president again in 2028. I mean, is that the best that the DNC can do? It's really disgusting. And I know we're going to talk about later about Congresswoman Maxine Waters. She's a moron. And look at Nancy Pelosi that lives in California too. Look at all these Democrats that live in California. The Senator, Adam Schiff, what is he doing to dissolve this? What is he doing to help his constituents? It's disgusting. It's asinine. And Gavin Newsom and the mayor should be kissing President Trump's ass and the team's ass for saving the rest of their state and for saving what they can of Los Angeles.
I agree. I mean, I'm not going to say no. I agree with everything you said. I think if it were up to me and I had to choose between living in an outhouse in California, I would choose the outhouse and probably just put an addition onto it so I'd have 2 outhouses. That way I could have guests over. Tim, they're calling this a peaceful protest in California. What do you think about that?
Well, as a musician, first could be California Girl. Passed away today, and it made me think about that song. Oh. And then it made me think, I wish they all could be legal citizen girls. But and it's a beautiful, beautiful land. It is almost like Eden. The weather is great. You got you're driving out the middle class, because when you have a welfare state, you're basically pushing out. They're running the playbook of Saul Alinsky, which is just basically, look, we're going to create havoc and chaos, and we're going to drive, we're going to create our method of getting basically a one world type government, which has always been, and since the beginning of time, you have people, the state in a sense, or the peasants.
Yep.
And so many people are fleeing. And I'm old enough. I mean, actually is going on today because playbook. You know what? I'm glad Trump at least did something to step in.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I agree completely. I think we're having some issues with Tim's connectivity because
I think Gavin Newsom's trying to hack his laptop, so he can't say what he wants to say. So
I will say this: my daughter lives about a half hour or so north of LA, and I was speaking with her today, and apparently phone lines had been cut in downtown LA because she tried to call the school where my grandson goes to, and they couldn't get through. And then 10 minutes later, they sent her a text message that said the phone lines had been cut. The only way to reach the people now was through email or direct contact. So that's peaceful. I mean, that's the first thing I think of when I think of a peaceful protest is cutting lines of communication to the rest of the state. If you don't do that, it's not a peaceful protest. At that point, it's just a simple gathering of like minds screaming and yelling and throwing rocks. You got to cut lines of communication. I agree with that completely. People make me sick. We got a picture here of something I like to show that I think is a common theme, and I think both of you will agree with me, a common theme flowing through. Can you point to the American flag for me, please? Or tell me where in the picture it is?
Nope.
And in case you're wondering, this is LA. This is not Honduras. This is not Mexico City. This is not Colombia, Bogota, Colombia. This is downtown LA. And of course, as you can see, it's a very peaceful scene, very serene. I think there's a family to the right having a picnic, actually. So what does this make you think of when you see this, Alexandra? What's the first thing that pops to your mind when you see this scene in an American country?
This is like a third world country. This is disgusting. It looks like the illegals are taking over our country, which is what Barack Hussein Obama, George Soros want. I mean, Barack Obama started this. He brought these illegals in first. Then Biden comes in later, and the illegals just keep coming in. 21 million illegals have come in. It's disgusting. It's asinine. And again, all those people that are holding Mexican flags and Palestinian flags, they all need to go to jail. They all need to be arrested. I'm so happy that President Trump said that these protesters, their masks have to be removed because we have to see who they are. They're cowards by not showing their faces. President Trump said, we already know that you committed or that you broke the law. Show your face anyway. And I mean, that's what has to happen. So when I look at that, it is just so disgusting. And I know LA. I still live in LA. I did performances in LA. LA is a beautiful city. And for, what's happening right now, I mean, I feel bad for anybody that has to go back down there. This woman, Amy Gallagher, said she's going there Friday to visit her daughter. I mean, why would you go visit there now? It's like a hellhole over there. Oh, yeah. But it's American people's home. So that's why all these illegals need to get the hell out of LA. Thanks to President Trump for calling the National Guard, Pete Hegseth calling in the Marines to arrest these assholes, and let's get them the hell out of our country permanently.
I agree. Here's the actual text message my daughter got from the school view or the school district. Due to another Frontier fiber cut in Los Angeles, all phones in the Ocean View School District are out. You may reach school offices via email. Thank you. And of course, because I'm her father and I'm none too smart, I said, hey, is that because of the riots? She said, yep, the entire school district. It's getting out of hand. Remember, she was in the Navy too. She said, just blow that shit up and call it a day. What do you think about all the stuff that's going on with the Mexican flags and everything, Hammer? I mean, I can understand national pride. Don't get me wrong. I'm Jewish, so I'll put the Israeli flag up. But what I wouldn't do is be angry at America and then fly that flag and go, this is where my allegiance lies. I would never, ever do that. What do you think about all that? And how do you gauge it? What do you think?
Well, there are two comments before I get to that answer. One, if Amy Gallagher's going to visit her daughter, you need to go visit her and get her the hell out of California. That's what you need to do. And the other thing, where did I see the American flag in the background? It was probably under all the flames because they were burning them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So what I have to say to the other flags that are there, and that's fine if you're proud of your heritage and where you came from, but you don't claim asylum and leaving your country from persecution and come and shit on the very rights that the country gave you to do, that enables you to shit on them, and then burn everything down and create all this chaos. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You can't wrap it any other way. The only people that make sense out of it is the mainstream media, and I'm not even going to get started on them today. I promise. Yeah, they're doing it for themselves, so I don't have to put it out there. But yeah, it pisses me off. It really does, because they're coming for access to all of our stuff that we work for, and I don't mind they come here legally, no problem. But you don't come here illegally, hate the country, wave your flag. That is I mean, Seth, you were in the Navy. When you go plant your flag on someone else's soil and you're allowed to do that and you're not stopped, what is that? You're conquered?
You're looking for a fight.
Well, yeah, well, I'm just saying, or you're conquered. If no one stops you and you burn their flag on the ground. I saw them burn the American flag, waving everyone but the American flag. That means we were conquered. So California, in my mind, is conquered. So it's either let the fault line, just crack and fall off into the ocean. So all the good people there, I would get out now and just let them all go out into the Pacific.
Let's show this other picture. We got some pictures here I want to show and get everybody's comments. Oh, wait, it's another Mexican flag in Los Angeles. Jeez. That's shocking.
Is that Oprah Winfrey? Looks like Oprah Winfrey.
It looks like in the back, if you look next to Oprah Winfrey, the midget behind her taking a picture, over his left shoulder looks like an American flag on fire.
Oh, my God.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Well,
what
what do you think? All those flags that they're flying around there, the Mexican flags, the Palestinian flags, every other, I see Honduras flags, all kinds of, they're all brand new. Do you think they have a surplus that quickly in LA? Like, let me just go out and just get all these brand new flags. I mean, no. I asked this question because you know the answer, but I'm just pointing it out.
Let me ask Alexandra this question. Recently, with all the anti-Semitism going on, when people fly Israeli flags, they catch shit for it. They get yelled at and screamed at and get it ripped out of their hands. Why is it okay to fly a Mexican flag or the Honduras flag or the Palestinian flag as opposed to the Israeli flag? Why do you think they're doing all this? Why do you think it's acceptable?
That's a really, really good point. And again, it's the minority trying to be the majority. Again, in the state of California, as we know, it is a sanctuary state. Los Angeles is a sanctuary city. President Trump has called out all these sanctuary states and these sanctuary cities. He wants the removal of them. So what's going on is that all these illegals, which a lot of them voted for Gavin Newsom and voted for the mayor, they are getting priority and they're allowed to be flying their Mexican flags and flying the Palestinian flag. But when it's real biting Americans flying the American flag, or when it's, Jewish people like you and I, Seth and Tim as well, when we fly the Israeli flag, God forbid we're ridiculed because, Jews are considered, putting genocide against innocent people, which we know isn't true. What these assholes are doing in California is they're committing genocide against innocent people. And that's the problem. That is the huge problem. And that's why President Trump had to call in the National Guard, because what Charles Collins said is that Gavin Newsom lost control of the city. He wanted to lose control of the city. He's a terrible mayor. Terrible governor.
All right, Tim, let me ask you, did you hear the question before about the flag, flying the Israeli flag and all the crap that comes with that compared to the Mexican flag?
Yeah.
What do you think would be happening in LA right now if those Mexican flags were Israeli flags?
Well, first, sorry I had to step off for a second. I had to go to Apple and did a 5-finger discount and had a whole new system. And everything's working better now, right?
Yes. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Don't touch anything.
Yeah, obviously with the Palestinian whatever people going into this supposed riot, protest, whatever in LA, it's telling you right away, yeah, you couldn't do anything with Israel, pushing their flag or anything like that. And it's disrespectful not only to just natural born Americans, but when you have people who became American citizens and they did it the right way, or the people that could not make it because of whatever they got pushed out, they try to go the right way. Now you got these idiots flying in a Mexican flag. Nothing wrong with Mexico. I mean, there are issues, but I know people from Mexico that are cool, but you're flying another country's flag on our lands. That is a slap in the face to every man and woman that died defending this country, and every single person that lives here and supports this country. So you know what? Get the hell out. And the polling is showing the people don't support what's going on. So the left thinks, okay, we're going to keep pushing our playbook and it's going to work. It's not working, because every day Americans are seeing this. They have their own eyes. They know what's going on. Now we could lose that optics war, but right now we're winning it. And President Trump was very smart to make sure that the optics were showing we're going after the bad guys, and we'll get some of the less bad guys along the way. But he's very smart, and he's a TV guy. He knows what he's doing. So I have faith that this will continue. And I'm so glad this is happening, because this country needs to be cleaned.
I agree. To the point of being an American, I was in the military. My daughter was in the military. My brother was in the military. Both my stepbrothers were in the military. My father was a police officer. My mother worked for the Department of the Army. So I take this pretty seriously. I take it very personally. I gave this country a blank check that doesn't have an expiration date. That oath I took doesn't say until January 1st, 2027. It's there. It will always be there. So I don't appreciate when people from another country sneak into my country, then bitch about my country, fly their flag while they're bitching about my country, and then expect me not to want to go out there and curb stop them. It's and I'm glad the crayon eaters, and I can call them that because I was in the Navy. I'm glad the crayon eaters are there, and I hope they start handing out some RBIs, really bad injuries.
Really
Let's
bad
go to
what?
the next picture. Really bad injuries.
There you go.
So let's go to the next picture here. I think it's a statement from Gavin Newsom. I don't know if I'm sure you're all aware, but if you're not at home, he sued Trump to try to get the guard and the Marines removed from LA because he thought that's what was causing the problems. Thank God it was denied. The court, I don't even think the court listened to it. I think they just denied hearing it immediately. There's 4,000 National Guard members there now, 700 of Uncle Sam's misguided children. And he thinks that's the problem. He thinks that's what's caught. Before then, apparently, according to him, and what's that moron, the mayor, Bass?
Mm-hmm.
Bass.
Seabass, Mayor Seabass.
Seabass.
Karen Ass.
Says it was
Karen D.S.
Yeah, Karen DeAss.
She said it was a peaceful protest up until that point. So, Tim, I'll start with you. I mean, of course, I know you agree with the court denying hearing that case. Do you think there should be something further that Trump should do after that? Do you think he should have Newsom arrested, like Tom Holman was saying could happen?
Well, you got let's take the political game out for a second. Let's just talk about first the logistical thing of what happened, because I've been having this conversation and I'm asking people, do you remember what started this whole thing? And people are like, actually, no. And quickly, a lot of people forgot. ICE went into that building out there and was rounding up a bunch of bad guys. And what happened? They tried to come out. There was hundreds of people around that building that were trapping them in there. So what provoked everything? Well, these bad guys, they were trapping in ICE in a building. So now President Trump could arrest Gavin Newsom. Do we have faith in our judicial system and the political system that actually he will be held responsible? I don't have that faith. Will it help Gavin Newsom politically? Could be. He'll be a martyr from this. What should happen? He should be arrested, set it as an example. And you've got people all over the country, like you're seeing a sign right here. It says, fuck your protests and foreign flags, support your local ICE raids. This is the kind of stuff that the people are basically saying, yeah, we want a leader to step up and get rid of these bad people like Gavin Newsom and Karen Ass. But they're, I just don't know if this country has the backbone yet politically to do that. But I really wish it would. And if I were in office, it'd be so fun. But I'm not in office, so I would say.
Same question to you, Hammer.
No, I mean, the same thing. I mean, well, one thing I am glad that somebody's stepping up and hanging those banners over the overpass there. At least there's some people that care in LA. But I don't think did they arrest Gavin Newsom? He can't. There's no crime in being a horrible governor, and that's the sad part about it. Now, if he, I mean, the state can defy, if I'm right, they can defy federal law to a certain extent. I don't know for the National Guard or if they send the Army in or the Marines, but as far as being the sanctuary city and not they can have, because they're not, them being the sanctuary city, they deem sanctuary places like schools, hospitals, prisons, courthouses. And I don't think they're allowed to go in because it's a state rule. And when they tell their police and the sheriffs, to stand down, they have to stand down. So that makes him a horrible governor. But if he breaks federal law as far as impeding and stopping them physically, using his the people that work for him in the state, then he can go to jail for that. But I don't think it's going to happen. He's not going to go to jail. Being a horrible governor, it just usually gets you voted out unless you run again in California.
Thinking about him going to jail helps me sleep at night. I'll tell you that. I have some very nice dreams about him getting locked up.
You know what sucks? My favorite president, one of my favorite presidents. Sorry, one of my favorite presidents is in office right now. But Ronald Reagan was from there.
Cool.
Barack Obama.
Alexandra, you have the last word. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Seth, is that I hope and pray that Governor Gavin Newsom goes to jail. I really do. As you know, Pam Bondi, she's already sued the state of Illinois. She sued the state of New York. She's charging the mayors there. She's charging anyone that combats President Trump's executive orders. The issue is, I go to Congress. They need to codify the executive orders. Some people in Congress are starting to codify DOJ, but it's actually the state legislators that are stepping up and doing the job and codifying DOJ. This has to do with not following President Trump's executive orders, not codifying DOJ, not codifying President Trump's executive orders. Any governor, any mayor, any lawmaker that combats President Trump's executive orders, that breaks the law, should automatically go to jail. For example, Alina Habba, who's a personal friend of mine, who's the new interim attorney general in your state of New Jersey, Damon Galdo and Damon Sherrod, she is charging, and she has worked the system to make sure that one of your congresswomen that combated ICE, she may be facing 17 years in jail or more. We need more people like that. We need more of that to happen. Gavin Newsom should be just like the congressman in New Jersey that broke the law, and he should be going directly to jail. No ifs, ands, or buts.
I wish you weren't so flip-floppy. I wish you were more direct in what you were saying, because I don't know where you're on this topic.
She's all over.
I agree with everything everybody said. And no, this is not a wind tunnel. It's just, they're smart people, and smart people agree with me. So before we wrap up this segment, I just want to say I think if it's found that Newsom and Bass, whatever goddamn name is, have been found to have broken the law, they should go to jail. They should be no different than me, you, or anybody. If it's proven they've broken the law, they should go to jail. I think Gavin Newsom going on the news and saying, "Come lock me up, tough guy," or whatever. Yeah. As he's standing,
I want Thomas Homan to lock him up. I love Thomas Homan.
I think he's wearing skinny jeans and a button-down Izod when he said it, because he's a tough guy. You know what? So politicians think they can do and say whatever they want to say because they're in charge. They're not in charge. We're in charge. And I say that every damn time. Nobody listens to me. We're the boss. They work for us. And they need to be reminded of that, because it's left their heads, and they're doing what they want to do when they want to do it. And they're doing this to us all the time. And most of us in this country just bend over and say, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" It's got to stop. It's got to stop. California will become the entire country if we don't stand up now.
I live in Maryland. It's just like California.
They're having issues in Baltimore with the same thing now. Apparently, they're having marches, anti-ICE marches in Baltimore now.
Yeah, Philadelphia too, where I'm originally from.
Yeah. But I do want to encourage people. So I do want to encourage people to go to the parade this Saturday. In honor of Flag Day, in honor of President Trump. Do not be afraid. I'll be there covering it. I encourage people. I know they're having the No Kings protesters nationwide. They're doing that to scare us, of course. But if we stay at home and we cry or we get nervous, then they win. That's what they want. Just like I say to the Jewish people, don't take the mezuzahs off your doorposts. Keep wearing your kippahs. Keep wearing your Jewish stars. Keep wearing your crosses. Don't let the enemy win.
Hey, can I end the segment with this? If Gavin Newsom is ever in handcuffs, at the very best thing that would happen, it would stop him from talking and doing his hand motions. When he's signaling somebody and he's doing, I don't know what he's doing, giving a speech. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys have saw that. So he's trying to come off down here and then over the camera, they can see his hands.
Oh my God.
Stop that.
Remember he lied and said that President Trump didn't call him. And then President Trump, he's so smart, he put the whole phone log and said, "Wait a minute, we talked for 16 minutes. He's like, "Oh, I had phone issues." And then he lied. And that one day when the fires were happening at the Palisades, he lied and said he was talking to Joe Biden, but he wasn't. I mean, he's such a liar, the guy.
Okay, talking about two stupid people, let's go to the Queen Stupid. I mean, if stupidity had a face, this person is probably in the top 2 running to be Queen Stupid. If you're unaware, Miss How Dare You, decided to take a sailboat from whatever dump she lives in. And I'll call it a dump because it ain't America, so she lives in a dump as far as I'm concerned. And wanted to sail down with 12 other idiots to go to Gaza to deliver aid. Mind you, the ship was 60 feet long, so they probably were bringing down a couple hot dogs, some chips, and a couple cases of soda. They weren't going to feed anybody. It was a publicity stunt. As they got down there, of course, Israel warned them, don't come down here. It's a goddamn war. We're not going to let you in. So they kept coming. And now when they stopped, they're like any other nation would during war. She said they were kidnapped. The Israeli forces kidnapped them and held them as they gave them sandwiches and drinks and made sure they were warm and clean. If that's how you get kidnapped, I want to be kidnapped. So I'll start with the hammer. Publicity stunt, or do you think she was serious?
Well, first off, how dare you attack her like that? Yeah, publicity stunt 100%. There's no question about it. I mean, everyone knows she's crazy. I mean, Trump even said she needed anger management. That was one of the great things that he said too when they brought it up to Trump. Trump's like, really, anger management? And then when they asked him about her being kidnapped, he said, that what she said? He's like, I think Israel's dealing with a lot more, something along those lines, than kidnapping her. But yeah, it was definitely a stunt. She's irrelevant. She was relevant for a short period of time in her life, and she's trying to find a little relevance again. So yeah, definitely a stunt. I think she banked on the Israelis to stop her from going, and she's lucky they did. Again, same thing. I'm usually the type of guy I'd like to see the best in people. I want the best for people. I'm not, but you can't. Sometimes you just gotta you can't fix stupid. You just gotta say, all right, they're not going to survive. They're not going to procreate anything good on this earth. So I don't want to be cold, but I would have just let her ship sail right by. They've been saying it for a long time. When the queers for Hamas and all that stuff, and everyone would say, what would happen if you go over there and say that? Then they throw you off the roof. So I would have just said, we've been saying it for a long time. Everyone with common sense, this is what will happen if you try to do what you're doing. And I'm sorry, we're tired of it. Just like we're tired of California, we're tired of you. So you're going to be the example.
But you know what would happen if they'd let them go? You know what would happen if they got hurt? It would have been Israel's fault.
Of course.
And now they stopped them. It's Israel's fault. Israel can't win. They can't, no matter what. If a dog gets hit in my neighborhood, somebody in my neighborhood will blame Israel.
Well, I know you're right, but I think we're smart enough to make a call where, listen, our ship is right here. We got her on radar. Just make sure you're out of the water. Just let her sail right by. And that'll be a big news. Wow, look what happens when you're stupid and you go there.
What do you think, fellow tribesmen?
Oh, talking to me or Tim?
You're my fellow tribesman. Tim's fellow tribesman 2. You're fellow tribesman 1. So.
Oh, that's right. We should have called this show outnumbered.
Oh, okay. Well, Tim, you take it first, and then I'll go.
I was just going to say.
For hope. How dare you?
Oh, don't get me started. Get the accent going.
How dare you?
Beverage here. I got a beverage.
So, yeah, I mean, look, she's been used as a prop or whatever, and she got her fame and all that, and I'm sure she's happy with it, but she's unexperienced in life, we'll put it like that. So her parents, I'm sure, and people around were pushing this stuff. Obviously, this whole thing was just a propaganda stunt. The first time I heard it, I had no idea anything about Israel or Jewish stuff was coming up. I was just like, what is she talking about? I'm like, oh, there she goes, blaming Israel. I was like, okay, well, we know it's all fake and staged anyway. It's like, you're irrelevant anyway. Most people realize now the whole climate deal stuff has been basically a scam. The climate changes and things like that, but we're having a minimal effect on what's going on, and regardless whether that minimal is 0.1 or even 1%, the fact is that most people now know, at least in America, that it's been very orchestrated so that it was all about taking money and having more control with this whole scheme. So she's completely irrelevant to me, and I do feel a little empathy or a little sympathy for her, because I know that people have used her. I don't know how old she is, maybe 20, 21, but she's been around for 10 or 15 years. And only Greta can make a war worse, from one of our awesome subscribers, Charles Collins. He's right. But man, it's like, I don't know. I had a good laugh today watching that. So enjoy.
She's a moron. She should be kissing the IDF's butt that she didn't end up in Gaza or end up with Hezbollah, because I don't think those people would have welcomed her with open arms. I mean, the IDF, I've worked with them. They're wonderful people. They've helped me out. I've learned Krav Maga from them. I mean, even if she made out with an IDF officer, it would have been a lot better than going and hanging out with Hamas, because Hamas is going to look at her and they're going to be like, thank you so much. Thank you, for the cause. And then they would have killed her, raped her, God knows what else. They would have tortured her to death. So she's an idiot for lying and saying that she was kidnapped. She's an idiot for working with George Soros on this, because I know she's getting bought and paid by him. And she's an idiot that she keeps combating President Trump when she has no power. Again, it's the minority trying to be the majority. And when history, comes out, she'll be an afterthought. She'll be in the history books as being an asshole. And that's the truth.
For my fellow men on this, I got to ask, could you, if she's saying, how dare you?
Yeah. No, I was going to ask Alexandra, as a woman, what about those bangs?
Well, I can tell you, I haven't worn bangs in a long time, and I can tell you it's working out for me.
Yeah, I know she didn't watch your show last night because she
didn't watch my show. I gave really great hair tips, and I lived in Israel. That hair oil would have been perfect for her hair. Everybody's hair. And the tinted moisturizer that I recommended would have been good for her, too.
Here's the Gavin Newsom.
Oh my God, that's the Gavin Newsom look, the slick look.
I mean, Hammer and Tim, we're parents, and I'm not trying to push anybody out of the conversation, but I would never in my life, if my daughter came to me and said, hey, Dad, I want to sail into a war zone and bring food, I would never encourage that. Never. I don't care if it was a righteous cause, and I agree with her 100%. I would never encourage that. And if I could stop it, I would say, you're not doing it. You're crazy. I'll lock you in a room. Yeah. What kind of parents does she have that would allow that to happen?
The parents that care more about the political ideology that they believe in than their own children.
And the money.
What about you, Hammer?
Their dad wrestled with crocodiles.
Yeah, well, some of that Amy Gallagher only because her dad wrestled with crocodiles. Well, maybe that's why. Maybe a crocodile bit him in the head one day, and he ended up with him. I don't know. I don't know if they made money off of her whole, when she was younger and she was up, and they were well ran dry, and they said, Greta, go out there and make us some more money. I don't know. I can't attest to what her parents are like, but I wouldn't let my kids, not even close.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Dancing Moms. The moms, they dress up their kids and they push them and they push them and they push them, and they're just making money off of them. That's what I think. I think her parents were just making money off of her. I really do.
So she's a Swedish Britney Spears?
Yeah, literally.
That's kind of odd.
But who would never mind, I won't say it.
I just don't understand the thought process behind it. I have a 60-foot boat. I'm going to go feed the people in a war zone. I mean, like I said, what did they bring? Like a couple of cases of hot dogs and some chips? Because you're not going to feed anybody with that.
What kind of hot dogs?
They weren't kosher. They were not kosher.
If they're Nathan's, I might have just flown over there so I can get a hot dog from them. But
it wasn't Hebrew National. I can tell you that.
Those are good, but I think Nathan's are better. I like Nathan's dogs. That's just me. When I was in the Navy, if there's a blockade, there's a blockade. It doesn't matter who the hell you are. If we said you don't go past this point, guess what, kids? You don't go past this point. And if you want to see if you want to test our will, you're more than welcome to. But my next question is going to be, how long can you tread water? Because we're not playing around. There's a war going on behind us. We're doing this to protect you. We're protecting you from that. And if you're dumb enough to challenge us, we're dumb enough to respond. Seriously, we'll get right back at you. I think the IDF showed a lot of restraint. I think they showed a lot of professionalism. And I understand there's probably a lot of eyes on them at that point. They knew everybody was watching. But there's a war going on, so I don't think they cared about that. But I think they were very respectful of who she was or who she thought she was. And I think they went above and beyond. I don't understand why they fed them, why they gave them water, why they made sure they should have said, look, we're going to scuttle your boat. You got 10 minutes to get on ours, or you're going to get really wet and really cold for a really long time. Do you think?
Well, I think it's what you said before, Seth, that the Israelis or the Jews get blamed for everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, they went to stop the boat because in a way, her operation was posing a threat to Israel and to the IDF. So they were going to stop it regardless. Then when they see it's her and the morons with the Kafife, and they're probably like, these guys are a bunch of losers, they were like, okay, we got to, show, we got to be the better people. We got to show the peace. Because
So
as you know, Seth, and everyone here knows that Israelis, they don't want war. They want peace. They're actually tired of this damn war. I have a lot of friends in the IDF. They're tired of this war. They want it over. They want it ended. But it's like she, again, caused another issue by coming over there. I know the IDF was thinking like, what the hell? Like, what the F? What, like, we got so much crap to deal with. And now she's coming with a damn boat with her bullshit. Like, what the hell? So, the IDF had to do what they had to do. And in the end, like you said, Seth, they handled it very well and very professional.
Saul was sitting at the fire control panel with his finger on the torpedo button going, can I please just let me do it?
Oh, I'm sure.
I'll say it was my fault. So what do you think about that, Damon? Do you think that they showed restraint? Do you think they should have done more? Do you think they did what was right?
Well, I think they did what was right. Obviously, of course they did, but at the same time, they may have screwed up. Maybe they could have just said, "Hey, she promised to end the war. We believed her. You're tired of war. We believed her. Why would she lie?
Maybe she was the Messiah. She's the Messiah.
Yeah, she lied about climate change for all those years. There's no way she's going to lie again. So we believed her. So
she's trying to redeem herself.
What do you think about it, Tim? You think they did the right thing? You think they should have done more?
The right thing, I guess. But how come she's not taking credit for stopping climate change now? Because what Damon just said, it's like, okay, yeah, well, everyone's like, oh yeah, we grew ice in the South Pole. How that happened? Greta, how dare you? It's just, I got to say too, you're talking about all this with Israel, and I'm sitting there thinking when I heard this today, some of the protesters' new chant is from Palestine to Mexico, the border wall has got to go. And I'm sitting there going, how the hell is all this stuff from like the Middle East always getting thrown into California or whatever? And I'm like, it's just the world, the one world order, new world order, whatever, against Israel and America, freedom and that kind of stuff. And it's just sad that she has positioned herself with the evil side. And I'll say it, they are the evil side. Oh, yeah. And not saying that any specific people are bad, but when you have a motive to kill other people because you don't believe in their existence, they're evil. So it's unfortunate that she even was involved in this. Now I look at her as a moron and a Jew hater or whatever else. How dare her?
I'm going to do something I've never done before since I've started doing podcasts. I'm going to share my opinion. I think by letting her in, they might have set a precedence. By not being more aggressive with that, I think they might have set a precedence for other idiots that want to go, oh, now we want to go to Gaza too. Look, they didn't do anything to them. They just, brought them ashore. I'm afraid that there's going to be other morons that are going to press the issue. And if they do that, what people need to understand is those sailors are already in danger. They're in a combat zone. There's problems going on, like you said. They got to be worried about this. You start trying to get through that blockade. Now they got to worry about you. On top of what's going on shore, on top of the enemy. Now they got to worry about you and your dumb ass wanting to try to get through the blockade to go do good or whatever it is you think you're going to do. You're endangering those people. That's why I think they should have been a bit more aggressive. I think they should have made a show of it. I mean, fire off the 16-inch cannons. Don't hit them. Don't come close, but fire off those cannons. Because I've been in the Navy. I've seen some of those cannons fired. If you're on the receiving end of that, you're going to shit your pants. I don't care who you are. Dude, that's the size of a couch, that shell, and it's coming at you, and you can hear it.
So size matters.
They're aiming at you. And I think they should have done that. I think they should have made a scene. I think they should have said, hey, oh, we missed. You're lucky. The guidance system was off. You've got 5 minutes to come, turn heave to, and we're going to board you. I think that would have set a precedence for the rest of the world. There comes a point we got to go, you know what? I don't care what you think about me. You don't like us fighting this war? You got two things you can do about it. Nothing and like it. We're not backing down. And you're not going to come in here and dictate to us how things are going to go. And if you do, you're going to meet Davy Jones, and it's not going to be fun. I've never done that before. I feel kind of good.
The size does matter then.
It does. It does. Real quick before we go to break, The USS Wisconsin was the last battleship we had. And a battleship, if you don't know, is like a heavyweight fighter. Very slow, but can take a beating, and it can knock you out with one shot. When they fired their cannons, all their cannons at once, that boat, or that ship, would scoop 3 feet in the water to the opposite direction. That's how big and massive those guns are on those ships. That barrel may only be this big when you're looking at it from the deck, but when it's pointed at you, it's the size of a house. Again, they should have done more than just gave them sandwiches and water. They should have done more. I have a horrible feeling it's going to lead to more stuff because they didn't drop the hammer on them at that time. Just my opinion. And again, I've never done that before, so this is new to me. All right, we got to pay the bills real quick, and then we'll be right back, and we're going to talk about more stupid people.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with Alexandra Levine Live on the America's Pulse Network. You are all in with Alexandra Levine. We are still waiting for someone from the White House to come out and tell us what transpired between President Trump and Vladimir Putin on that call today. We are here live at the White House. We're waiting for White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt to come out and tell us about the updates of today, the call between President Trump and Vladimir Putin, what transpired in that call.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
That is our own Alexandra Levine right there. Not many podcasts can say they got a White House correspondent. I mean, literally. I mean, most of the podcasts are people that are in their basement, just got done eating a pudding pop and a Hot Pocket their mom brought them, and they talk about stuff that no one cares about. We have an actual, we're this side, actual White House correspondent. And on top of that, we have Tim Fazenbaker. I mean,
hey, Ma, pancakes.
It's like a double stuffed Oreo cookie. I mean, what more could you ask for? And we got the hammer. So if you don't like it, he's coming to your house, knocking on your door at 2 a.m. with a baseball bat.
Why, because he's Italian?
Yeah, because he's in South Jersey. I mean, everybody knows South Jersey's got the pointing to the north and or the east and the west. We know that.
I'm Mexican.
All right, well, then, you can still be Mexican mafia. So
You got papers? Let me see your papers.
all right. So as I promised before we went to pay some bills, I told you we were going to be talking about more stupid people. The person we just talked about, and I granted she's a child, and maybe I'm being too harsh, but you know what? Suck it up, Buttercup. She's an idiot, but she's a child, so maybe there's a little leeway we can give her. The next person we're going to talk about has got to be as dumb as a bag of goddamn hammers. That's not even respectful to hammers. She's just stupid as the day is long. And on top of that, I'm going to be petty. She is so ugly, her shadow is unattractive. She's just, and she gets elected to she's an elected official. That's what burns my ass. Let's bring that picture up so everybody can see what we're talking about here.
Oh my God, it's James Brown.
And all her glory and her, whatever I should want to call it, with her wig or whatever extensions.
Her weave.
Miss Maxine Waters. They're challenging I get that weren't the Marines because the Marines probably would have shot her. That's the National Guard. And she's like, if you're going to shoot, you got to shoot straight. Again, talking about publicity and stunts. That's a stunt. Tim was an elected official, and he's an elected official for the Central Committee where he lives. What do you think about her behavior in public as an elected official?
So when I ran for Congress in the past too, and I was friends with a gentleman named Joe that ran against her. So I knew a lot about that area. And of course they call her Auntie Maxine. And a lot of the people vote for her just because of skin color, you know, right. and I was told that straight up. And a lot of them know that she's dumb, she's crooked, and they don't care because they have their own agenda or whatever it is. Okay, fine. Well, that's who you have representing you. I got to say, though, my buddy Terrence said, you know, he put out the thing with the California raisins, and he's like, which one? Find Maxine Waters in this. I don't know if you saw that. It's hilarious. So anyway, she is the epitome of what it means for term limits, because you have somebody that is completely inept, that is out there instigating, go beat them up if you see them out in public and make them uncomfortable and all that crap. Yeah, if I went and said that stuff, first of all, I'd probably be kicked off my elected position. And I probably wouldn't win an election again because, fortunately, I'm not in an area that's as bad as Compton or wherever she is at the moment. It's getting there, but there should be some civic responsibility that's even heightened above normalcy for elected officials like that, because she's instigating, and then she gets protected and nothing ever happens to her. And that's, we talked a little bit earlier about, like, should we arrest some of these people like Gavin Newsom and all that? But, it's like, okay, well, here's an example of someone who's instigated riots and people have been shot and stuff. And you could say it was all because of her, and nothing will ever happen to her. She needs to be held accountable. First of all, she needs to be out of office. But
yes,
if you did, I don't want to. Never mind. I'm going to leave it at that.
Say it. No.
I would go one step further and say she is the perfect, and I mean perfect, argument for pro-choice. I would argue with anybody. They'd go, look, pro-choice. I'd be like, you know what? I agree. I agree. You've changed my mind. I'm now pro-choice.
Oh God.
If she were to bleed, it would be dust.
Oh, yeah, I think her blood type is dirt. Sometimes I make myself laugh. What do you think? What do you got to say about her, Alexandra? What do you think? You think she's representative of her people or representative of herself?
She's representative of herself. And the irony of the whole thing is she kept saying, I'm using my congressional authority. I'm a congresswoman, my congressional authority. Well, your congressional authority, you're as an elected official for the House of Representatives and for Congress, is to, again, put your constituents first, work with your constituents. The fact that you're defending these illegals goes completely against the oath that you took for office. That's why any elected official, again, that goes against the oath of office, that supports illegals over their own constituents, automatically should be removed. Same thing with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, screaming out Somalia first, says, I came into this country, I became a U.S. Congresswoman to make sure that Somalia stays first, and I will take care of my Somalian refugees. I mean, she has said that multiple times, but yet she's still in the halls of Congress. She has not been physically removed. We cannot wait for these idiots to be voted out, because as Seth said, as Tim said, it's really hard to get these people out because of the districts that they live in and because we still have illegals voting in their states. You have to actually physically remove them from office. We cannot wait till the next election, because and also term limits. The more we keep these assholes in power, unfortunately, they run for the the President of the United States, they run for a higher office. Once they're in, you can't get them out. That's why term limits are important. Remove these assholes from their elected positions, and let's take our country back. We voted for President Trump. Majority of people voted for President Trump. We the people, her American constituents need to rise up against her and take back the district and take back their state.
Before I go to the hammer, we got a video clip I want to show, because I can tell you how stupid somebody is, but it's best to let them explain for themselves how stupid they are. So I'm going to let Miss Waters just spew her bullshit out for a couple seconds so we all can just bask in her stupidity.
And even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. Nobody was shot, nobody was killed. Get it in your head. And so when martial law is called, what are you going to say? I missed the point. Don't miss the point, you all. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence. I was on the street. I know. And
I'm done. I can't listen to her anymore. Oh, that stupid is contagious. I think we all just lost 2 IQ points listening to that BS. Okay, here's a question for all of you. You can fire off on your answer. Do you really think she's honest and believes when she says these are peaceful protests, or do you think she's lying, or she's really just that stupid and thinks that this is peaceful? Hammer.
Well, she's lying for sure, 100%. But that's why I thought I was going to follow that. I was going to say, how are you going to ask me to follow that? What's there to say? She's a fucking idiot. She's lying. She's not. Well, she is stupid, but she damn well knows she's lying. So she has to be. No one can be that stupid to make people believe that as you're talking, all the carnage behind you. I mean, literally. So there's no violence at all. No, not at all. When you see cars burning behind you, it's like, they're just having fun out there. They're just having fun. Yeah. Just like, Seth, today's your birthday. What do you want to do? Let's go call some Wagos and light them on fire and smash cop cars. Yeah, we're just having fun. You just can't get around that. And just, I don't know why people don't vote her out. I mean, maybe it's the thing on top of her head. I mean, I would vote for. Oh, go ahead.
They vote for her because they're just as stupid as she is.
Well, it would have to be.
It's contagious.
That, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'd vote for the thing on top of her head before I would vote for her.
I hit it with a bat before I'd even let it get near me. Yeah. I don't know what that is. It moves. If you watch it, it
moves. It's like a symbiote or whatever. Yeah, it's like crazy. But and I just had to get this in as about Omar, because I can't stand her either. That she's going to do a lot for Somalians. She has done a lot for Somalians. One in particular, her brother. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is disgusting.
Is she married?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Take it, Tim. Go for it, Tim.
She's crooked. I'll just say it. I mean, and there, like I said, when my friend Joe ran, and Joe's a black guy, grew up there as well. He's also in the Navy. Good guy. And then he talks about, the belief in that community, where a lot of people thought that she was out for their community, like that she was going to support them. But then they started to kind of realize, she's really all about herself, and she was mischievous, we'll just put it. At this point, I think she's always been corrupt, but now you're seeing maybe some similarity. Maybe she got the Biden going on, so maybe she really thinks that's an ice cream truck behind her, and she's like, well, I'm going to go walk with them. I don't know, but even if she didn't have any cognitive issues going on, she's still corrupt. So maybe this time she doesn't realize that actually stuff is burning in her own community, or maybe she doesn't really care because the narrative doesn't fit what she wants, like back in the 90s when it was the the Rodney King stuff going on. But you know what, a lot of people in her own community, and I know I speak to them all the time, they say a lot of our representatives aren't looking out for us because they're putting illegals ahead of us, and that's an issue. And they're starting to wake up, and that's why you saw not a majority, but the largest black voting bloc this time for President Trump. It's because they're realizing just putting race ahead of other things isn't always the answer, because people will end up abusing their own people, and they're seeing it with Mad Maxine.
I agree. And of course, last but not least, the lovely Alexandra.
Well, I agree with everything everybody said, and Tim, you remember this, Maxine doesn't actually live in her district. That was the big thing that Joe talked about in his commercials that he did, is she actually literally doesn't live in her district. She actually lives in the district over in like a multi-million-dollar home. So she doesn't really know what the hell is going on. So I think she's oblivious. I think she's stupid. She reminds me of that scene in Naked Gun where there's a bunch of like car attacks and blow-ups happening, and Leslie Nielsen's like, nothing to see here. Everything's good. Nothing to see here. If you guys remember that. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. It's just like, everything is good here. It's all peaceful. And it's the same thing in Minnesota. Tim Walz, nothing to see here. And then like the whole city is like burning. It's just like, it's ridiculous. It's like, do these congressmen and governors really think that we, the people, are that stupid? We're not stupid. But again, as President Trump has said, we need to remove the sanctuary states, the sanctuary cities, the sanctuary counties from this country so we can have free and fair elections. Because all of these elections are not free and fair because of the sanctuary states, sanctuary cities, sanctuary counties. You have a bunch of illegals that continue to vote there because under law, you don't have to have photo ID to vote. You know that in the state of Maryland, you deal with that all the time. I think in New Jersey, don't you deal with that too, Damon Galdo?
You don't need ID to vote.
Right, you don't need ID to vote. So all these liberal states where President Trump lost, it's because there's no free and fair election there. So it's ridiculous, and it's asinine, and she is dumb. And I agree with some congressmen, I think Nancy Mace said it, that a lot of these congressmen and senators need to take a cognitive test. They really do, because we need to know their ability. I think there was a congressman from Texas that literally had dementia the entire year, and she was just allowed to be there on the floor, but she had clear signs of dementia. The doctor actually said, this congressman from Texas has dementia. So, it's like step down. Dianne Feinstein, for instance, Dianne Feinstein had dementia. I think when she was reelected before she passed away, There was known signs of her having dementia. So all these damn people like Biden and so forth that have dementia, that have, that are not cognitively fit, they need to be automatically removed from office. But I agree that I think she's having first signs of dementia, but I also believe that she's just that damn stupid. And she thinks that if she lies to us and says, oh, there's no burning, there's nothing, happening, that we're all just going to like turn a blind eye and close our eyes and, just forget. She's full of shit.
Before we end this segment, I want to show the picture we didn't get to show. It's of the police officer shutting the door on Maxine as she says, I have congressional authority. Damon, if you could put that picture up, it's with the yeah, that one. The last time I saw a mouth like that, it had a hook in it, and I was reeling it in. And there's people that are supporting her, and look at the cop going, "Good Lord, you're dumb as rocks, aren't you? You're not acting. You really are that stupid."
Wow.
I'm glad someone finally put her in her place. I'm glad it wasn't another politician. I'm glad it was a working Joe that told her, "Hey, shut up," and then shut the door on her. I'm glad that's who it was. If I ever could meet that officer, I will buy him as many beers as he can drink, or coffee, or soda, or whatever it is, Hot Pockets or Pudding Pops. I don't care what it is. I will buy as many as he wants, because that's what we need to start doing to these politicians. They work for us. They need to be reminded. And he just reminded her, you ain't nobody. You work for me. Goodbye. All right.
Maybe Maxine needs to drink some prune juice. Anyway.
All right, so let's gotta go take one more break, pay the bills, and we're gonna come back, and there's a light at the end of this tunnel. There's some smartness out there, and we're gonna talk about it.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with Alexandra Levine Live on the America's Pulse Network. You are all in with Alexandra Levine. We are still waiting for someone from the White House to come out and tell us what transpired between President Trump and Vladimir Putin on that call today. We are here live at the White House. We're waiting for White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt to come out and tell us about the updates of today, the call between President Trump and Vladimir Putin, what transpired in that call.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
So we've been talking about stupid people and stupid things and stupid places and stupid reasons people are doing stupid things. And with all that negativity, I wanted to end on a positive note. So what we're going to talk about next is that light at the end of the tunnel. It's not hopeless. There is some sanity in the midst of this sea of stupidity. And we're going to talk about him, and this is how we're going to end this show, because I think we need to end with this. Donald Trump, like him or not, stands by what he says and does what he says he's going to do. He said he was going to take care and take control of California if the governor and the mayor couldn't do what they were doing. He's called them incompetent, useless, and I couldn't agree more. He got involved, sent the guard in. Then he sent the Marines in and sent in more guards. They're all screaming and yelling at him. But what you can't deny is things are starting to trend the opposite way now. I mean, you can't help but run away when Gomer from Kentucky, the Marine for 10 years, is in your face drooling, holding his rifle, just waiting for you to do something stupid, begging you to do something dumb. And it's because of Trump we're going to have law and order back in California. And I don't understand how anybody could argue with that. Like him or not, that's his job, is to protect us. Sometimes he has to protect us from ourselves. And that's what he's doing in California. He's protecting the Californians from other Californians, and that's just how it has to be. And there's an easy way to deal with that. If you don't like it, go back to your country. It's really that simple. And as I said before, Newsom tried to sue Trump's administration to get the guard taken out and remove the Marines. Of course, it was shot down. So I guess my question is, how much farther do you think Trump should go or needs to go to reign in California? And we'll start with you, Tim.
Union del Barrios, if I'm saying that right, they are one of the organizations behind a lot of this stuff. So, you got George Soros that's, I'm sure, pulling strings and stuff. But you got the useful idiots. When I talked a little bit about Saul Alinsky earlier, and they talk about the useful idiots, they're the people that are out in the street doing this stuff. A lot of them are paid. They don't understand what's going on. They think it's fun. Yeah, we get to run stuff. But you really want to stop it, go after people like organizations like Union de Barrios and George Soros and cut that head off the snake right there. Because when you stop that, all this stuff below is going to stop. I talked earlier about, in California, you had the Rodney King riots that were probably more spontaneous than what we're seeing today. So these, like I said, these riots aren't spontaneous. They aren't grassroots. They're actually funded from the top. And that's how you take these things out. Now, you also win over the hearts and minds of most Americans when you were able to just knock out a couple people in a sense and say, now everything's done, instead of being in the street, taking out these little people who don't really understand what they're doing, except they know they're doing something wrong, but they don't know why they're doing it. So it is a political game to be very careful about. But I think that's the next move that President Trump and his administration need to move forward with. It's take out the people funding these things. We've all, hopefully by now, have seen the masks being delivered, the cinder blocks on pallets being delivered to different cities. If those things don't just appear, the odds of that stuff is astronomically impossible. I mean, it's impossible. It's grass for. I mean, it's astroturf. So cut off the head of the snake, and you will end up having a much better environment for us all.
Alexandra, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Tim on that. And other groups that are involved in this is CHIRLA, CHIRLA. That's the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles. Act Blue is a part of this. We all know all about Act Blue. George Soros is behind that. And the Party for Socialism and Liberalism, that has to do with the pro-Hamas people. That was the same group that asshole Elias Rodriguez was a part of. He was the guy that murdered the 2 innocent Jews in D.C. So all of these groups are working, together. And I agree with Tim that President Trump should completely dismantle it. I have called, and so is my Jackson organization, we have called for President Trump to declare CARE a terrorist organization, as well as the Muslim Brotherhood. These organizations need to leave our country. They need to not be here, because the more that they're here, the more havoc that they're causing. And I just want to say for the record, President Trump was at Fort Bragg, North Carolina yesterday in front of thunderous applause. You could see the love from the military that was there. The speech that he gave was so beautiful, how he talked about the making of our country, how he talked about, and you and Tim and Seth, this runs home to you, the Francis Scott Key Bridge. And Francis Scott Key, there was a guy who was 8th generation relative from Francis Scott Key. It was just beautiful how he talked about that. And that's why the bridge needs to be rebuilt.
Hammer?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, because it's part of our country. I know what I said earlier, and I still almost stand by that. But being that 59% of Americans agreed with sending in National Guard, sending in the Army, it's very rare that you have almost 60% of Americans on one side of an issue. So that does show growth in what Americans are thinking about what the president's doing. So it's a good thing. So we're making headway there. But I'm still not going to leave behind my initial thought. Because I don't know how you stop people like George Soros. He's influential around the world. He's causing chaos everywhere. He believes in open borders. He believes in migration. He believes in all this stuff. And he's got a lot of money. And they keep getting away with it. But how do you stop an organization? How do you stop people from handing out gas masks that are there? They shouldn't be, but they want to keep the protests there, keep it going. How do you stop it? Even if somebody's delivering a pallet of bricks, well, I'm delivering it to a job site and they just drop it off. I mean, it's going to be hard to do. I mean, how do you just crush an organization? I would love it. You see the NEA out there talking about it a lot too, and they're praising the people out in the streets. And why are they involved? But I would say yes, keep doing what he's doing. But as soon as it backfires at all, if we lose any momentum with it, and the left wins anything over this, and because there may be something that's going to happen eventually, somebody gets hurt, and we're going to have all these people coming out. Oh, it's because of Trump. No, it's not. A lot of people didn't get hurt because of what Trump did, but there's ways to swing narratives. If it ever goes the opposite way, even though it is moving in the right direction right now, then that's when I say, okay, cut your losses, let them deal with it, and every surrounding state say, listen, lock up your border, just like we have our country's border locked up. And only the people that want to leave, that are citizens, that are taxpayers, that are contributing, hey, welcome them in. But everyone else, and let it fix itself. I mean, I don't know. I don't see an easier option than that. No, I'm more easier, but just if it's not going any other way, I just can't. I don't know. I'm always optimistic. I usually am, but because I've been so pessimistic lately. That's why guys. I love having this show today. We had a lot of laughs. It's been a while. All week I've been angry seeing all this stuff. So that's why I was trying to joke a lot the show just to get out of that mood. But it's making me pessimistic. I don't like it anymore. So
maybe just because I'm a judgmental prick, I'm of the opinion that if it's legal, let it happen. Don't interfere with it. Don't mess with it. It's legal. There's nothing you can do about it. The second it becomes illegal, the second, not a month down the road, not a day down the road, the second it's determined to be illegal, crush it like a bug immediately. Spare no expense. If you think 10 guys can do it, send 1,000. If you think 1,000 guys can do it, send 10,000. Crush it. Let there be no misunderstanding that it will not be tolerated and that we will overkill if we've got to end it. I think he waited a bit too long with California. I don't think he sent enough people into California. It's obviously an illegal act. I would go so far as to say it's an invasion from a foreign country. The Mexican president has said she will not allow her countrymen to be taxed to come back into this country. She will call for disorder. I would make it very clear if I were Trump, if you say that again, I will take that as a declaration of war, and you have been advised. Stay out of my country's affairs. You are not wanted, you are not welcomed, and your opinion does not matter to me. I will put your countrymen out that are here illegally. Illegally, I will put them out as fast and in any way I see fit. And if you don't like it, you're a third world nation, I will crush you. Make no mistake about it. This is our country. We are going to protect our country. I will protect my people any way I see fit. Again, it goes back to the naval blockade in Israel. Sometimes you have to make an example. Sometimes you have to go above and beyond to make sure everybody watching understands you ain't fucking around. That when you say enough's enough, it's time to go, it's time to go. I don't think. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, some people have already said that President Trump should sign the Insurrection Act and call for martial law.
Yes.
That's one thing that has been talked about. Will he do that? That's up to him. That's his power to do that. Yes.
And for people who don't know what martial law is, it's a suspension of habeas corpus. I guess it's carried out by the U.S. Marshal Service, i.e. martial law. Mm-hmm. They federalize the National Guard like they've done before. And what it is a suspension of constitutional rights. You cannot move freely. You cannot go out certain times of day. You can't go to certain areas. And if you do, you are arrested immediately. There's no, let me read you your rights. Hey, you are arrested immediately and you go to a tribunal. You don't go to court. You were tried by basically military and law enforcement.
Correct.
And the sentence is carried out immediately. If you go to jail, you go to jail that day. I think they need to do that. Maybe not in all of California. Centralize it in LA, go like 10 miles out from the center of LA, institute martial law, and lock those fools up. They are destroying people's livelihoods. They are injuring police officers. They're destroying public property. Mm-hmm. And all we're getting from the politicians in California are, well, it's peaceful. It's just love. Trump's trying to do it, but I think Trump needs to go, you know what? Let's let the marshals handle this. I'm instituting martial law for 48 hours. Have fun. I guarantee you that would calm LA down with quicker than 48 hours. What do you say, Hammer?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Absolutely not. Yeah, and the thing about it too, there are some people that are in this country illegally who've been here for a long time, and they're good people, and they are, but they're still here illegally. So I think they should self-deport, like Trump said, and then try to get back in. I think they should get pushed right to the first of the line if they decide to do that. But yeah, no, I like that he sent them in, the National Guard. If it came down on martial law, then it is what it is. It would have to happen, especially think about the rest of the people in there that are citizens, or even the people that are illegal, that are good people that they don't want this. I mean, imagine if you lived in California and you're illegal, say for 20 years or something like that, and you've been going to work, you've had a job, and you're living your life, but you never became a citizen. I mean, yeah, that's a mistake. You should have done that. But you're not out there burning the city down. Imagine how bad that looks on them. Well, maybe it'll help them look for citizenship after this. But my point is, there are people out there that really, they're not illegal migrants, and criminal illegal migrants. And that's one thing I like about Trump. Not only does it look good, look good in the headlines when he says I'm targeting, criminal illegal migrants, because that's what he's trying to do, trying to make the city safer and the state safer. So that's a good way to look at it, and that's what he's doing. So I hope it continues that way.
What do you think, Alexandra?
Well, I want to actually applaud someone that's on our podcast. I want to applaud Tim Fazenmaker. Because of him, the Home Depots of Dundalk are safer now.
Good.
He called 866 DHS to ICE. Again, Tim and I have, and I think even Damon Galden, and I think Seth, you too, we all have a personal relationship with Thomas Homan on some level. And Tim worked with Thomas Homan, he worked with DHS and ICE to remove all of these illegals from the Home Depot in Dundalk. And they're being removed from Hagerstown.
Yep.
They're being removed now from my grocery store in Montgomery County. There was a guy who was in my grocery store, a Giant, and he asked me to pay for his food. And I was like, well, what's going on? What's your deal? Are you here legally? Are you here illegally? And he says, I've been living here for 25 years from Honduras on a permit, which is not legal status. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then I found out there was another guy from Honduras that was with him too. The fact that the grocery store allowed these illegals to heckle the clients that are in, or the customers that are in the grocery store, was asinine to me. And I asked the managers, I'm like, can you please do something? They're heckling us. This is not good. You shouldn't have this. And I actually gave them ICE's phone number. And I'm like, I'll call ICE instead if you won't do your job. Of course, they didn't call ICE, but I reported them to ICE. I took the guy's picture. I reported it straight to ICE, and he's gone. So there is an issue with people breaking the law. That's why Thomas Homan is the border czar, to take these illegals out of here. And President Trump said, we will start with the criminals first. And then after that, we will start with the people that have been living off the system for 20 to 30 to 40 years. The fact that illegals are getting health care, they're getting Medicaid, the fact that there is insurance agents that are giving illegals health care, the fact that there's elected officials in Annapolis, Republican, really a Republican in name only, that voted for health care for illegals is disgusting. There's actually elected officials all over the area that are supporting these illegals, that are working with illegals, that are getting attorneys for these illegals. It is not fair to we the people. We the people have been losing jobs because of these illegals. We the people were denied hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin because of these illegals. It's a real problem. It's a real problem. And I was going to say further on the question of how can we take down these organizations. I have said this, I have preached this. We have Republican billionaires. We have other types of billionaires, regardless of Republican Party. Robert Kraft is one of them. Robert Kraft could create a lot of these organizations to combat the pro-Hamas groups, to combat the anti-ICE groups. That's how you take down the George Soroses of the world. That's how you take down a lot of these groups, is you do something better. You get more of these groups. You get these billionaires like Bill Ackerman and Robert Kraft to put their money into a bigger group that's bigger than CARE, that's bigger than Jewish Voices for Peace, to combat these mofos. And that's one of the biggest reasons I've advocated that for years.
Tim, I'll let you wrap up this segment. What do you think?
This is what President Trump needs to decide, and the American people need to decide. Martial law is something that is, say, very drastic. Is it needed? Well, here you got to think about what's been going on. I was 12 years old in 1990, and I remember hearing an older lady in Arizona call a radio station, and she said, America, you don't understand what's going on in the Southwest. The illegal immigration issues that we have here in the Southwest, basically 3 states, is coming to your door, and you're going to understand one day what we're dealing with. And I never forgot that, because I was like, I don't know any Hispanics or Mexicans at the time, living in Baltimore. It was just white and black. And now I saw, by 2000 or so, I remember when I'm kind of getting out of college, I started to start seeing these communities of people that were basically illegal. So you had, for years and decades, you just had people breaking the law, not playing within the law. And now you have a system where, if we're going to follow the law that we currently have, it's going to be extremely hard to undo the wrongs that our politicians had done to us for so long. Martial law can correct that. There are pros and cons. I have my own belief on what maybe should happen, but I think the heart of America needs to understand what this really means. And then President Trump, he will do the bidding for America. And we see it. He's doing it already with the deportation of these bad guys and these bad hombres and stuff like that. And then it's going to be ratcheted up. But he might need to call martial law. So it's something that America needs to understand, and then to come together as a country, decide how do we fix the wrongs of the past.
I couldn't agree more. So before we end this all, I want to let Damon and Alexandra give their schedule for podcasts. So we'll start with the lovely Alexandra. What days and times are you on?
Yeah, so thank you. Well, I'm Alexandra Levine Live. I'm every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. and Thursday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. So I'm a 1-hour show this time. It's an impactful show, 20 minutes of full on, politics, breaking news. And then I do other things now on my show. I talk about beauty tips, dating, other things that, are personal to people that are not just Republicans, but Democrats, independents as well. So if you want to get a variety, watch my show.
And Hammer. Oh.
I thought you called me that because I'm a carpenter.
That's why.
Well, I gave up giving the beauty tips a while ago, but my shows are Mondays and Fridays for the podcast. Mondays and Fridays at 8 p.m. Obviously, the Pulse Wednesdays at 8 p.m. My radio show is Thursdays from 5 to 6 p.m. on Cruising 92.1 WVLT. Again, it does air on APN on Friday afterwards, but if you want to catch it live, you can always go on Facebook Live, Cruising 92.1 WVLT, or my Facebook page as well. It'll be airing on that.
And I'll say I've been on both of their podcast, radio show. We talked about dating on Alexandra's, was awesome because I'm the expert when it comes to dating. That's why I have so many people beating down my door right now. As a matter of fact, they're lined up now.
That was great advice. My girlfriends loved it, actually. They're taking your advice.
Say, hey, give me a call. We can talk. The Hammer Show, which are great. I was on his radio program. Very good. They're both very smart people. We have Tim. Tim, is there anything you're doing you want people to know about where they can catch you, talk to you, see you, watch you?
Major announcement, Tim?
You can find me at howdareyou.com. But speaking of dating tips and stuff, the reason why I think Alexandra does the dating tips is look how short Damon is next to her. All right, ladies, he's really not that short, but he's married.
It's not the size of
I got yelled at by my wife. My wife was like, because obviously my show aired, her show airs on my page too. So I saw, she's like, I didn't know you guys talk about dating tips to you. I'm like, that just tells me you don't watch my shows, babe. Thanks. I said, I don't talk about dating tips. That's her show.
So before
you can find me at timfazenbaker.com. I'm on all the social media stuff. Find me there for some good laughs, and I post a lot of funny stuff and
you do
a
post
lot
some
of
funny
news.
stuff. I find myself looking at some of your stuff at work, and with a customer in front of me, I start laughing and go, "Hold on, I'm busy right now. I'm looking at Tim's stuff. Just wait, we'll get to you."
I was going to say, Tim, so Tim is having a float at the parade July 4th in Dundalk.
Oh, nice.
If anybody is interested in volunteering or being a part of that float, it's going to be great. He's got a big white Jeep. It's like half a Jeep, half a Hummer. It's huge with the cylinders. Everyone will think he's black. It'll be great. So please, guys, if you want to join and be a part, he'll wear his hat like that too. If you want to be a part of Tim Fazenbaker's float on July 4th for Dundalk, message me, Alexandra Levine, or message Tim Fazenbaker as well.
And of course, if you like to get riled up and angry and have someone screaming and yelling at you on a podcast, I do Sundays at 7, the Conservative Corner, where I try to stave off having a stroke or a heart attack once a week. So far, it's working. Again, I'm still waiting to hear the over-under for an aneurysm on air. I think it's going to be 10 more than 10, less than 15 shows. It'll be in there. But I'm also with these guys on Wednesdays at the Pulse at 8. I want to thank everybody who posted questions or comments. It's awesome to have people interact while we're doing it. That's why we do this. As I've always said before, we are not here to change your mind. We are not here to make you fall in line with us. We're here just to give you our opinions and some facts and hopefully make you think about what's going on and see things from another perspective. And if you think we're here to change your mind, you're not listening to what we're saying. That's not what we're doing. That's not what any of us do here. We do it because it's fun. We like talking, and we like talking to you. Elena, again, like I said, I don't know if it's changed, but when I last heard from her, she was having some medical issues at the hospital. I hope she is doing fine. You can watch her on The Based Mother. She's everywhere. I mean, literally, you can't find her. You're not looking. But you can start on Fridays on Rumble. The Based Mother, great show. Another great lady. She's smart, intelligent.
Loves bananas.
I mean,
she's our fruit liaison.
Yes, I mean, I think she's gonna wear a banana hat the next time she's on air. But yeah, thanks again for hanging out. I mean, it's been a quick hour and 25 minutes. We enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. If you have any questions for anybody that's been on here, you can contact us on X or Rumble or on their respective Facebook pages. You can ask any questions. If you see any of us in public and you have a question, please, by all means, ask. Just be respectful and don't be a jerk about it. Because if we find out you're being a jerk to somebody, the hammer's coming to your house. I'm not lying. He's coming to your house. It's going to be 2 a.m, and it's not going to be pretty.
And Tim the Gladiator will be there too. And
he'll be behind him. He's going to knock on the door. All you're going to hear is, "Hey, Joey, bag of donuts." What are you doing in there?
Well, I do knocking because when they look through the peephole or in the ring cam, they can't see me because it's above my head.
That's right. You'll he's out there.
And you don't want me, IDF. You don't want me, Alexandra. You don't want me coming at your door. Mossad coming at your door.
And you don't want me because I won't leave.
And if they're mean to anybody,
they're
mean to anyone,
be nice.
Hear me out. I will say to you, how dare you?
And yeah, and if I show up at your house, I'm not leaving. You're gonna have to cook me dinner and let me stay overnight. And I'm a house ape. I will tear your stuff up just because that's how I am.
Unless they smell like stale Doritos, cat urine, and shame.
And I'm walking right out the door like, "Man, you smell like cat urine and shame, and that looks like you smell like Doritos, and it looks like your feet. You could swoop down into a lake and snatch dinner out." So before we go, I just want to say, remember, if you live your life based on a principle and not on a party, you're going to lead a pretty good life, and people are going to think of you fondly, and you're going to leave a good history behind you when you go. So for everybody here, thank you very much. We had a great time. We will see you on the respective times, and again on next Wednesday at 8 on the Pulse. And again, I hope Elaine is back, and if not, I hope she gets better, and keep her in your prayers. So thank you very much. This was fun. Good night.
How dare you?
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.